I have lived in Vermont for most of my life and have grown to fall in love with its fresh air, foliage-filled falls, and snow-filled winters. Recently, I've learned that due to global climate change, many of the aspects that I love so much about Vermont could drastically change within the next few years. The new idea of my home changing so much made me feel absolutely hopeless. If Vermont, my home, lost all the character that made me call it home, it wouldn't feel right to call it that anymore. Another thought that initially came to mind when I learned about the effects on Vermont due to global climate change was, how much of a difference can I really make if I am only one person? It's true, I am only one person, but I can make a difference even just by informing others on what they can do to help. Global climate change has already started affecting Vermont. The total annual rainfall in Vermont has increased over the last 50 years, and storms have greatly increased in intensity, causing more floods and damages to many communities. Many scientists expect these trends to continue. Vermont winters are getting warmer and shorter, threatening winter sports and tourism, and making Vermont more habitable to ticks carrying Lyme disease. Summer days are getting much hotter. During the decade between 2004 and 2013, Vermonters were 8 times more likely to visit emergency rooms for heat complaints on dates when the temperature reached over 87 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. On these dates, there was an increase of 1 additional death per day among those over 65 years of age. One of the main questions that rose for me while diving deeper into learning about how climate change is affecting the Earth, and my home specifically, was how do I motivate others to want to change this crisis that we are in? My hope is that by talking about a universal connection humans have, the love of their home, I will open people's eyes to the possibility of extreme change in the environment that they call home, but also to the promising idea that they can do things to reverse the effects of global climate change that threaten them, and that in no way are things hopeless. Some of my favorite memories growing up in Vermont take place playing in its lush forests. Forests are facing double threats from global climate change. Forests face a double threat from global climate change, changing seasons with more weather extremes and development patterns that are dividing large forest blocks into smaller and smaller pieces. When combined, these threats make forests much more vulnerable to stresses like new pests and disease. However, there are things that we can do to keep Vermont's forests intact and healthy. The Agency of Natural Resources owns over 350,000 acres of conserved land that is managed for wildlife habitat and sustainable forestry. Hundreds of Vermonters are getting trained as forest pest detectors, able to locate pests that could kill or harm thousands of trees if they establish in Vermont. Greenhouse gases are trapping more heat in the Earth's atmosphere, which is causing average temperatures to rise all over the world. 0.5 degree per decade increase has been on course for over 5 decades. This seemingly small climb has significant effects on Vermont's extreme weather events, growing season, and native ecosystems. Transportation of people and goods around Vermont is a crucial role of success in Vermont's economy, but it also generates about half of our climate-disrupting greenhouse gas emissions. Fortunately, it's hard in a rural state to find suitable alternatives to get to work or pick up groceries, so many of us will need to go to the same distance with less fuel, using more efficient vehicles, like electric cars. Many Vermonters are already figuring out ways to get out of their vehicles. They are ride-sharing, taking commuter buses, and experimenting with electric cargo bikes.